I'm here to tell you the awful fucking truth.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I love
Thank you so much for your support.
January, February, into March and April. Same way too.
Thank you, thank you.
May, June, or July.
Fucking hell! Horrid!
I never
Absolutely
let a day
horrid!
go by
I give you shower and you snaky with me. What the fuck did I do to you?
Go away in August or September, in October and November, not to mention warm December. I love
half a dozen pieces of fucking
so
shit.
another year has gone, I'm ready for the next one too.
If I can be with you.
Every single second, every minute, every hour, all the whole year through. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I love you.
I'm Archie.
Alongside the Swiss. So Clive Watch Wrangler Bryant, didn't you promise Tanzio Ansari that Tim would autograph a poster to his biggest fan? I actually did promise that you would autograph a poster for ArchieLuxury and we would send it to him.
If you have a poster of me, that's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, so no.
Is that a thing?
So, well, it's going to be a thing because we're going to have a poster made of you, and you're going to need to autograph it to ArchieLuxury because I promised that we would send one out.
I can do, but do we ship internationally?
Well, we will. We will.
That's the first international gift we've ever given away. Congrats, Archie.
Yo, 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 good afternoon and good evening to the Archieverse. It's been a minute since I've streamed on the actual main channel, on the ArchieLuxury channel, but thought I'd do a bit of a pre-show for everybody before Archie starts in about 40 minutes. See how everyone's doing. We got Nickname who says, what the fike? I agree, what the fike? And my good friend Laura Connor says, hello. Hey, Laura Connor, how goes it? We got Jim in the house who says, it's hard, fikers. Real hard. It is hard. That is for sure, ladies and gents. It is hard. Yeah, I just wanted to see what everyone was up to. You know, Archie's his new time slot is around 7 o'clock Eastern time, where it used to be 6 o'clock. So I thought, hey, you know, why don't we do a little bit of an early pre-show? I'm sure Archie will hop on. Say hello. We got HS Brazil who says a cheers from Brazil. I'll say to you, HS Brazil, bom dia, and welcome to the show. It's my little bit of Portuguese that I can speak, not too much, but yeah, no, we're happy to have everybody join us here on the main channel, and yeah, just gonna talk some watches, talk some shit, talk life, talking camper vans in a relaxed format, as Archie does, I guess. You know, a lot of the watch talk's been centered around, you know, which releases are, you know, I think everyone's kind of beating the dead horse on the releases, and I thought we would just stick to, you know, anything the chat wants to talk about with watches, you know, any questions you guys have. We got CEB who says, hi from Central Queensland. Hey, CEB, welcome. I don't know where Archie is in comparison to you in Queensland, but yeah, welcome to the show. Archie, for those that are joining the show and have never actually seen an ArchieLuxury live stream, ArchieLuxury actually live streams. He has a dedicated live stream channel. He mostly uses this channel to post his daily videos, his vlogs and whatnot. But, you know, I thought, hey, why don't we do a pre-show on the main channel for those that, you know, have never really seen the live stream channel. And then I'm sure Archie will link it to the live stream show, which starts at 7 o'clock Eastern. And we got Anthony Napoli in the chat who says, this watch on screen could be Archie's one and done. Yes, I agree. This is an annual calendar chronograph. This is a 5905 in rose gold. And yeah, honestly, one of my favorite watches. Uses the central seconds, so you can see it uses a bit of a different movement than Archie's had. He's had the 240 movement, which is a micro rotor movement, and he has a 215 movement, which is a manual wind movement. So he's owned some center seconds movements in his Calatravas, like the 5107, the 5127, and a few others. But his world time had the micro rotor movement. But this one's absolutely stunning. Laura Connor says she was in Brazil in January, so that would be summertime for them, Laura. Wintertime for us in Canada, but summertime down south. I've never actually been to Brazil. I've always wanted to go, but never really had an opportunity to go to Brazil. But Laura, let me know if Brazil is a place to go. I have friends from Rio. I have friends from São Paulo. So never had a chance, but yeah, if you say it's good, I may check it out. But yeah, Anthony, this is definitely a very very nice piece. I love the blue. Rose gold to me, in Patek is really nice. I prefer the Patek Philippe rose gold to the Rolex rose gold, which is a bit more coppery. I think the rose gold in Patek is a bit warmer of a hue. Jay Wright asks, "Hey Tan, did Arch have a calendar of some sort? Had it twice?" He did. Archie had a 5035. I'll pull that up here for you guys to see. Patek Philippe 5035. I believe he had it in yellow gold, which is the J model. And let me just pull up the 5035 for you guys to see. So this is a 5035. This is the first iteration of the annual calendar, which was released in 1990. Well, created in 1996 by Patek Philippe. Higgins and I actually went through a pretty big argument around. He doesn't think Patek Philippe's relevant, in today's day and age. And I actually challenged him. I said, name me a complication that has had more of an effect on the overall watch market in modern times than the annual calendar. If you think about it, Patek Philippe invented the annual calendar in 1996, and like many brands have adopted it. Rolex itself has adopted the annual calendar in the Sky Dweller. So I can't think of another complication that was invented in modern times, right? Say like the last 35 years, for example, that has had as much of an impact on the broad watch industry than the annual calendar. And this is not it's not a I wouldn't say it's a very prestigious complication. Obviously, that's the perpetual calendar. But when you think of annual calendars, to me, one of the most useful complications. And by the way, Jay, right, I've also owned this same watch. I had the 5035 in white gold with a slate gray dial and an Italian date disc, whereas Archie's was yellow gold with, I believe it's a cream or opaline dial with the English date. Laura Collins says she went to São Paulo, which is obviously pretty nice. Hey, David, in the background, you're gonna have to show your face for me to add you onto the stream. Just a bit of the rules, my man. You gotta at least show me that you're a real person. I won't add you on the stream, but you're gonna have to at least show your face on camera in the backstage before I add you in. Yes, Mr. Skydweller, we're doing a pre-show, and I'm answering any watch questions you may have. And yeah, if you have any questions you want to shoot my way, we're doing a bit of watch talk before Archie actually gets into, I don't know, talking camper vans. Where the fuck Archie's going to talk about tonight? Rod Taylor says annual calendar Patek. Yes. But yeah, like I was challenging Higgins. I said, name me a complication that was invented in modern times that had more of an influence on the industry besides the annual calendar. And he was hard pressed to find one. We got my boy, a real world Curly in the house, who says, I know when you talk Patek, you do it naked in front of a mirror. Fucking right, buddy. Naked with just the Patek on the wrist. That's all you need in life. Yes, Rod Taylor, that is the 5035 annual calendar. Let me show you guys some more modern annual calendars to get the party started. So I did show you guys a annual calendar chronograph. Let's go through the catalog and find they've actually axed a bunch of the like the 5146 is no longer available, and they do still have the 5396. This is one of my favorite annual calendars. I like the layout of this one. This is definitely the same or similar layout to a perpetual counter that was its predecessor and what it's based on. But I do love this layout for the annual counter. I prefer this to the 5205 layout, which I'll show you guys here in a second. They still have remnants of the old 5146. Um, this layout you can see has a lot of lineage to the 5035, the original annual calendar. They had a whole lineup called the 5146. It's now discontinued. This is a 5147 with a similar dial layout, but obviously it has a diamond bezel. Not everyone's favorite, but if you got a bit of nostalgia to the original annual calendar, definitely one to check out. And I'll show you JJ's favorite annual calendar, which is here. Is the 5205. Not a bad layout. I don't mind this one actually. It's just I prefer the layout specifically of the 5396 over this layout, but not a bad looking watch. I've seen in pictures it's a bit chunky, which some people may like. Some people hate ultra thin watches. They're not really everyone's cup of tea. And nickname is face shown just backstage only. No, the person left. But rules are if you want to hop on the stream, I do drop the link, but you're gonna have to definitely show us who you are. I don't just add randoms in here. Um, but yeah, it's annual calendars, ladies and germs. Annual calendars, one of the most influential complications of the modern era. But I don't think a lot of people think about that because annual calendars are not, again, like I said, not the most prestigious complication, but to me, one of the most usable complications. And I really bang per buck. I think you can pretty much get most of the way with one of these and not have to spend perpetual calendar money. One complication that a lot of folks have been asking about has been the regulator. So this is the regulator annual calendar. And for those that don't know what a regulator is essentially it's showing the time in different apertures. And the regulator, and you can kind of see here from the video in this regulator, you can see a different subdial for the seconds, a different subdial for the hours, and obviously you got your minute track and what have you. The original regulator piece that they based this on was actually inspired by a regulator clock that was in the office of Thierry Stern, who's the CEO of Patek's father, Philippe Stern. And they said, hey, why don't we make a wristwatch with a regulator dial? And that's where the first regulator came out. And now they've added, obviously, the annual calendar complication to the regulator. It's not everybody's favorite. Not everybody's a fan of regulator dials. I can say specifically myself, not really my cup of tea, but still a cool annual calendar. It's a little bit different than what's on the usual docket for annual calendars. Nickname says, "Tell us all the secrets, Patek Philippe." No, I mean for checking purposes, it is shown backstage only, or my fike. I don't want to show my face to the whole world. No, it's just backstage only. It's backstage only. I won't add you to the stream, but we got to make sure that people are vetted and they are actually who they say they are. Thomas White says Patek and Pussy. Yes, Patek and Pussy. I don't know if Archie's much on Patek and Pussy these days. He picked up his 5196 and he wore it, I think, for a day, and he seemed really happy. He seemed super happy with that watch, and I know he's not keeping a bunch of watches at home anymore, but when it came to the Calatrava, he's definitely I think he's picked the right one. The 5196 is a beautiful piece. I think somebody on Instagram, fella actually sent me this, where somebody on Instagram said, if you're looking to get your first Patek Philippe, that this influencer recommended the 6119, and I would have to disagree, as this being the first Patek that someone should buy. It is definitely a very classic design, hobnail bezel. I don't really recommend this for everybody. You got to really be into a bit of an older style to I think. And look, I've heard this watch is stunning in person, and everybody who has one I know loves it, but the design may feel a little old manish for most people. And Patek's lineup in the Calatrava has actually gotten a lot more contemporary, I would say. And a piece like this isn't very contemporary, in my opinion, and therefore if I were recommending a first Calatrava to somebody, it probably wouldn't be this one, even though I personally like this watch. But yeah, I would disagree, and I'll show you guys in a second after I get a couple of these chats. My buddy Jean-Claude Biver says, "Tant, great chat is the 5960 Platinum worth the 90K entry ticket. That piece gives me wood." Yes, 5960 Platinum. Let me pull you up a 5960p. I think there's a few different dial layouts of this as well, or dial colors on the Platinum, Jean-Claude Biver. So it's the so you'll see there's a gray dial and there's also a blue dial. So it really also would be depending on the one you do want. I'll pull up the slate gray dial. I really do like slate gray. Patek Philippe's, I think the dials when they do the sunburst and the slate gray is beautiful. But they do also. So it's interesting. A lot of folks don't know that the 5960 in platinum also had a blue dial. Because whenever I say blue dial, people think, "Oh, aren't you talking about the white gold version?" Well, no, they actually did also make a blue dial. And I'll see if I can find you a picture here of a blue dial. Here we go. And this is a blue dial platinum 5960. So Jean-Claude Biver, I don't know if you're speaking about the blue dial, if you're speaking about the slate gray dial. Either one is amazing. 90K is a bit steep, I think. I think you're probably talking Aussie dollars. Maybe it's not Aussie dollars. That is definitely pretty steep. You can buy, and let's say we're talking US dollars, you can buy a perpetual calendar, like a 5320. I'll show you what that looks like. You can buy a perpetual calendar, not in the salmon dial here, but you could probably get the cream dial in this version for like 68 USD. And if you also, this is the center seconds perpetual calendar with the syringe hands. If you preferred a micro rotor movement, you could get the classic 5327, and this is your like I said, traditional layout of the perpetual calendar. And if you were to buy this one, you're probably at the same money, so 68K. So if it were me, I would be high 60s. Let's say that's equivalent to 90 Aussie. I would be taking a grand complication, whether it's one of these two perpetual calendars over an annual calendar chronograph in platinum, even though I do like the 5960. But I think opportunity cost wise, I would be, you could even probably get a 5170 or even a 5172, which is a chronograph for that similar money. So that would be my pick. And Laura Connor, he's not backstage, or else I would have seen him. There was somebody backstage earlier. I asked to show the face, but they didn't actually show their face, and therefore I did not add them. But yes, they want to do that. I won't add you when you show your face. I'll just wait for you to turn off your camera. Rod Taylor says 6119 is expensive above complicated Calatrava 5130. So 5130 he's referring to is a world time. It is the I'll pull it up for you guys here. 5130. Let's show the platinum because I know my boy Mr. Zoso has been hunting down the platinum. 5130. Let's see if I can find a good picture here. Share this tab. Let's pull up this picture here. So this is not a Calatrava, by the way, Rod. This is a it's in the complications lineup, and so that they consider that different than the Calatrava lineup. And yeah, I mean, you could probably pick, probably not a platinum, but in the white gold, you're probably like low 30s, I would say, in the 5130. The 5230, you could probably get in the mid 30s. So not bad money. And I don't disagree with you, Rod. Like, you're probably at a similar rate for retail on a 6119. So I would absolutely agree. If it was my money, I would be absolutely getting a complication over a standard Calatrava for that kind of money. But hey, the question was more like, hey, if you're a new collector and you want to get into Patek Philippe, well, what would you get into? And when everyone like, if you kind of look at the Calatrava lineup now, I would say there's a lot more contemporary pieces that would probably appeal to a more modern collector. Some folks love the 6007. Some people hate the 6007. I am the camp that actually likes this watch. I think it's quite contemporary. I think it gives a very sporty look to the Calatrava, which has traditionally been a quote unquote dress watch. And, we all know that dress watches are not very popular amongst the YouTube community. I wouldn't say not popular amongst everybody, but the YouTube community. That's one option. This one's a great one, the 5226. This is a textured dial, syringe hands, and it is your basic three-hander with a date Calatrava. But still does not look as old manish, for example, as the 6119. So these two kind of pieces I would be recommending for somebody that wants to get their first Patek Philippe outside of a Nautilus or an Aquanaut. I'm not really talking the sport models, but if it was a Calatrava, I would be gravitating towards these. I would be recommending these. I would not be recommending the 6119, even though I agree with the and by the way, the guy's name is on Instagram, Horology Ancienne, I believe. The reasoning for that individual's recommendation of the 6119 was because the watch it describes the essence of the brand, I guess. Manual wind, classic, Clou de Paris, bezel, all that jazz. But to me, a brand evolves over time, and I think a more modern collector is going to be more interested in it. Holy jeez, I think we have a celebrity. Oh my god.
Hey, how are you?
Hey man, how's it going?
Too bad. What's going on? You got a pre-show for me?
We got a pre-show on the mainstream. We're talking Patek Philippe's.
Yes.
The question was, Archie, now it's you and I haven't live streamed on this channel in a long time.
No, that's fine.
So there was a recommendation on Instagram that said, somebody asked, what would be the Calatrava to buy as a first buyer today? And the Instagrammer had recommended the 6119. And I guess I was saying I disagree a bit because, to you and I, guys who've, love Patek and really like the classic design of Pateks, for us, yeah, absolutely. We love the brand and we're not new to it and everything. But if you're new and you're a modern collector, like you're probably going to look for something a bit more contemporary. And that's why I said pieces like the 6007 or even the 5226, I think would be a better recommendation that I would give somebody because I think they would
the other thing is, the thing that's completely missed here is that, let's be honest, by the time you get to Patek, right, this ain't your first rodeo. Agree?
Well, that's exactly it, right? It's exactly it.
Like this is not your first rodeo. You've kind of done a few things and you've had some fun. And what normally happens is by the time you get here, what happens is you normally have had quite a bit of a history. So the person who comes here, is he really going to buy new? Is he just this is retail fantasy, this is retail. Because by the time normally the collector starts off, he buys his first roll. Maybe he gets it new. Maybe he gets it pre-owned. And I'm just going to link to our other show, if you don't mind there.
Yeah, I thought I'd probably do like a 45-minute show just to get like obviously some
hey.
Because I don't know if the linking works from the live stream channel to itself.
It works to anywhere. It works everywhere.
Okay. I figured let's pop on the main show. Let's get 50 people.
There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we got to get rid of those depressing videos being 50 and unemployable. I mean, Jesus Christ. How many fucking times can Archie feel anxiety?
So you were saying, look, if you're a new buyer or if you're a buyer that's getting into Patek, you may already be savvy. Now, You
know what I mean? It's like the first time, let me say this to you. The person who buys a Lamborghini, right? That's not their first car they've ever bought, is it?
No, it's usually not.
They've had a few pseudo luxury cars, like, as Starchy would say, four-pot poverty Beamers. They've had a few of those, and then they get the Lambo or the Ferrari. So it's not their first rodeo. And the same with Patek. This is not just first watch you fantastically walk in and buy, right?
Yep.
So what is the best value on the pre-owned market? I got to tell you some stuff. I think these watches you've mentioned, they're actually beautiful watches. They're all great, but they're expensive. Bang per buck at the moment, 5196 is amazing bang per buck.
Yep.
5127 is amazing bang per buck.
Yep. Absolutely.
5107. And the funny thing is,
I actually brought up an article. So GQ did an article called "The Most Affordable Ways to Bag Yourself a Patek Philippe Watch." This article came out. It came out today actually. I read this article earlier, and basically they're talking about like what are the best buys in Patek
Sure.
Philippe if you don't want to spend crazy money like 40 grand, 50 grand.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the article, they kind of describe a couple of different watches that you can buy on a budget. They
Yeah.
and one of them here is
5119.
5119, right? Like they're saying stick to and this was actually a 3919. This was
Oh,
for nine.
okay.
Yeah, bit small as we know, but they said, look, if you go into the 40s and 50s and 60s catalog
Yeah.
of Patek Philippe, you're going to find a lot of decent deals. And the other option is they say go to the auction route, which I wouldn't recommend, but they do talk about like a lot of watches on auction that are going for pretty
Sure.
decent prices. Like they mentioned a 2004
Yeah.
Calatrava. 2004 would have been what, the 5107 maybe if it was a date, Calatrava date, but they're talking
Yeah.
about how Calatravas themselves in
Yeah.
that era are, like you said, are probably some of the best buys out there. So definitely a cool article to check out if you guys are looking to buy your first Patek Philippe on a budget.
Yeah. I really do think so. It's I got to be honest there. I find it really sad. My Pateks have gone. Of course, I had 4. They're gone. I've got 1 now.
Mhm.
I think the marketplace has changed a lot. They're actually gone up a lot. They've gone up a fair bit, which is that's just how it goes. I gotta say, I think for me, if I had the money to buy a second Patek, I'd be looking at like a 5130. The World Time 5130. I reckon that's a good buy.
Yeah, so they're
Um,
hovering around like the high 30K mark. But you can get a 5230, a newer version that's probably in the mid 30s. I saw a rose gold one for like 36. So, I don't know. I don't know why you like the aesthetic of the 51. I like the aesthetic of the hands of the 5230 a bit more than the 5130 personally.
I totally agree with you, but I think the 5130 is good bang per buck. Bang per buck. It's gotta hurt. It's gotta hurt.
Look at this 5230 platinum.
It's a beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning.
I think that for me, if you're gonna get a complicated Patek, like you guys know I like calendar watches. So for me, it
You've
was the
got 2
annual.
Pateks now, don't you?
I do. I have the 5196, and
Yeah.
we call it the ArchieLuxury. I got the ArchieLuxury, and I got the 5212 weekly calendar. And Jean-Claude Beaver actually asked a question earlier. And maybe I'll pull this up because I think you may want to answer it as well. Let me just find it here. So here you go. So he's asking the 5960 platinum. Is it worth I think he means 90K Australian entry ticket. The piece gives me wood. So it's the annual calendar chronograph in platinum.
Yeah. JJ had one. Remember, that's a wonderful piece. Annual calendar chronograph. Is it worth the entry? Well, they don't make the 5960 anymore. This is all pre-owned.
Mhm.
Is it worth it? Shit. I mean, it's got 2 fantastic. I mean, do you understand? That's an amazing annual calendar, and it's been replaced by the 5905. That's kind of replaced that.
Yeah.
I think 5960 is amazing. To get 90,000. Yes, Jean-Claude Beaver. He's actually been looking at We've got the other interesting question with him is, does he buy a nice car for that money, or does he buy a Patek? What would you be saying to him? Because he's got a Mazda 6. He's got a Mazda 6.
Car prices in Australia are just fiked. Like, I don't know how the hell you guys afford cars over there.
Actually, they're not as bad. If you convert the currency, it's actually not. Ferrari, yes, is ridiculous. Lambo's ridiculous, but like,
Well, your
actually,
Beamer's
you're right.
Your Beamer's over 100 grand.
When I got it, it was 80 Aussie, which is
Sure.
like 60 US. Is that
Yeah,
they're not?
but
It's not that much more in America. It's not much cheaper in America, is it?
yours is yours a 340 or 335?
330. The
330.
4-part poverty pack, Starchy. The 4 poverty pack.
But you're over 100K. Like that's hovering.
The
like
new
now.
one now is 100. The new model, the
Mhm.
LCI, is over 100. Yes.
Rod Taylor says I can travel by bus and have 1 Patek. There you go. That's probably the way to go. But what I was saying to Jean-Claude Biver was, I said, look, for let's say 90K Aussie is like 65 or something US. So for that money, you could buy this watch. You could buy the 5172. You could buy the 5320. That's the center seconds perpetual calendar cream
Yeah.
dial for that money. You could buy the 5327 perpetual calendar with the blue dial for that. So
Yes.
the question is that would you take an annual calendar flyback chronograph over a grand complication like a perpetual calendar?
Good question. You know, I think the interesting thing is I think the 5960 is a little bit more sporty.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more younger audience. What do you
would
think? It's got-
ArchieLuxury do? You have 65 grand. You could pick 3 watches. First watch is Jean Claude Biver's 5960 Platinum. Second watch is
Yeah.
the 5327 Perpetual Calendar. Third watch is this one on the screen, 5172 Chronograph.
Look, you know what? They're all good buys. I'd probably say the I'd probably go for the 5960.
Ooh.
Mind you,
Really?
is there a bad choice amongst all
There
of
isn't a
those?
bad choice. There isn't a bad
You know,
choice.
I'm
surprised you didn't go with the Perpetual Calendar.
50. Yes, you are right. You are right. You're right. And actually I really love the 5172. That's an amazing manual wine chronograph. Amazing. Syringe hands. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful.
What would you rather have
Beautiful.
on the wrist? What would you rather like show
Actually,
on the screen?
I
tell
got to
people
be honest with you.
off?
5327. I've actually seen that. GJ in Singapore had that.
Yeah.
GJ or JG.
Yeah, geez.
He had one. He got it from the saloon in Geneva.
Yeah.
And you know, it doesn't have a second hand. Look at that. It doesn't have a second. It's got all these complications, month, day, but doesn't have a second hand. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's a 240 movement.
Yes,
Micro router. Yeah, but I think that layout, like this layout, I prefer the
This is traditional. This is
It is.
traditional.
It is, but if I show you the non-traditional, right? You got the 5320.
I
center
love
stack.
that watch. You know, that was the big draw card with the annual calendar, the 5035, is it had center seconds. That was kind of what differentiated. That's how you knew it was an annual calendar. Then instead of being a perpetual, it had center seconds.
So you see this one with center seconds, but this is its inspiration. This was the inspiration of that watch, was the 1591, the one-off stainless steel, first waterproof perpetual calendar. So, you know, to me, I think the design of the 5320 is actually really nice. I just kind of, I'm like you, right? Like I'd prefer it not to have center seconds. I like the micro rotor movement, but that's us, right? That's us who are purists who are like, well, the 3940 didn't have center seconds, and therefore the 5327 is the way to go. But most modern collectors may not see it the way we do, and say, you know what, maybe I like, because I don't know if you know, Humble Pine actually has this watch. He has not in salmon. I believe his is the cream dial, but he's enjoying it, and says this was
of course.
watch, so
that's a beautiful watch. That's nothing to be sneezed at. Wow, that's
says he's going to come on in a few days to talk car talk and watch talk.
Yes, I had a lot of fun with him. We do the nighttime show. When I say nighttime, my nighttime, your morning time.
Yeah,
and we had a bit of trouble the other day, but we fixed all that up now. Bears, I just said to Bear and Tan, you're the boss. What do you want me to do? Boom,
talk
boom,
some
boom.
watches, talk some Patek Philippe's. Get excited, my friend. Get excited.
Get excited. Tell me this: are you looking at another Patek, or two's enough? What's your view there?
I'm definitely getting another Patek. We got a legend in the house. We got Computer World.
This.
How
are
what's
you,
up,
man?
guys? Can you hear me fine?
Yes, we can.
Good. Loud and clear, man.
He's very good.
I saw you two. I said I gotta be on the panel with Tan and Arch.
On the main channel.
Yes.
On the
I
Archie.
just want to watch. I want to watch. I will be silent. I just want to watch.
No worries.
Right.
Yeah, I'm actually, I'm actually looking at that price point, Archie. That same price point around the 5172 chronograph, and again, I would still err on the side of getting a perpetual. So it's either going to be this one, the 5320 in salmon, or it's going to be.
How happy are you with the 5212 you've got?
I love it. I wore it today.
Yes.
To me, it's the Patek that I've worn the most, and I've owned the Nautilus Blue Dial.
I love that strap. You know, that caramelly strap. It's such a good vibe to it. And
it's very, it's very casual, and you can wear it Like today, I wore to work like a polo, some jeans, and I wore the Patek, and didn't look out of place. Looked perfect. Even casually dressed down. And
Yes.
we got a lot of new people here that I haven't seen on your live stream before. We got Mark Quack, who says the 5524G is legit. Patek doubled down on pilots with the 5924. Archie, are you a fan of the pilots? I'll pull up this while
You know what? I love them. I think they're cool. I think any people get funny. They say, "Oh, why did Patek do this?" Da, da. You know what? If you've ever, I held one of the rose gold ones. The workmanship on it. It's a big watch. It is. It is. It's like what you'd get if you crossed a Patek with a Breitling. You know what I mean? I got nothing against it. It's beautiful, beautiful. Patek, really, their pilot watches. I love the 5224. That's an amazing watch. Look at that. That 5224 is just, look at the blue on that there. Gorgeous, gorgeous piece. Look, these are amazing pieces. Look at this 5524. Look at this. How could you not love that in rose gold? I've handled it. The actual buckle itself is amazing. The workmanship in it is really amazing. What's not to love?
I agree. It's if you actually go and take some time to look at the catalog, I mean, they've got such a breadth of different pieces. Like like this one is actually my favorite in the catalog right now. Is the World
Yes, world time chronograph. Yeah, I
in
think that's a
in steel, salmon dial, center seconds. Like this is look, it's such a unique piece. And I don't know, like I would be taking this over the 5960 if I were to combine the two complications or combine complications.
It's an amazing. Would you wear that every day? Yes.
It's a steel watch, of course you could. But that's the thing. I had a Nautilus. I did not wear my Nautilus every day. I wore my Nautilus like a special occasion watch, like any other Patek I had. The 5212 is a work watch. Like I wear it every day, or I wear it as often as I can. I'd say probably 3 times a week. But for me, that's a lot more than I ever wore my 5196 or my other Calatravas or my Nautilus.
What's happening with the cars? You take the cars out now. Is the weather okay to take the cars out?
You know what? It was for 1 week. It was hovering around 25 degrees Celsius here, which was fine with the cars. It's around like 5 Celsius right now, so it's not the greatest weather. I mean, it's fine to drive and stuff, but I don't want to be hanging around with my friends like for 2-3 hours having a coffee just out in the cold. So it's probably going to be another week or two before it really warms up where I'm at.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
Geezer says the 5935 is hard to get at retail. Well, not if you're ArchieLuxury, who's well known at Hourglass and could easily swing one of these. This is a good question. How is the 5168? Gee, so he's talking about Archie. Do you know
the Aquanaut? Aquanaut, white gold,
yes,
white gold Aquanaut.
Yes, sir. We're keeping you on your toes today, ArchieLuxury.
I love that blue. The blue.
Oh fuck, it's so nice. I like this better than the fucking grenade. Bear like loves the grenade. I love this better.
Yeah, I love the blue too. The blue is special. They're an amazing watch. They really are beautiful. Unfortunately, very hard to get. This is the big problem.
I come from an era when the Aquanaut was known as the poor man's Nautilus, and when I was buying my Nautilus, I just couldn't rubber straps are a lot more common today with like Oyster Flex and stuff, but in 2015, 2016, like
that's right, that was groundbreaking.
Yeah, like you were like, how the fuck am I going to spend 30 grand US on a watch with a rubber strap? Like
exactly, rubber.
But we're so desensitized by a lot of things. Like think of rubber, think of like fake patina. Remember when fake patina came out? Everyone's like, up in arms about it. Now it's like you put it on a watch and you're so fucking desensitized by it.
Yeah. No. You're 100% right there. 100% right. It's gorgeous. Well, I'm thinking about changing watches, Tan. What should I change? I've got my blue Xeon. Should I have a switch out, or stay with that? What would you do?
I like the blue. I'm wearing my my sub date 41.
I might stay with the blue Z. I might stay with the.
Yeah, look, I'm wearing my 41 sub date as well. Let's check out our boy.
Oh, look at that! Beautiful.
Looks very nice. Looks good on the wrist, buddy. Is this the Aquanaut to get though? I don't know. Is this the Aquanaut you would get?
Hey,
Let's-
Tan, I better jump off, get the other show start to
we
go.
got 80
I'll-
people watching here, Archie. 80 we're
we'll
gonna
link
send
up.
over.
It'll link up to it as soon as you end
yeah,
this
yeah,
one.
when you
okay?
yeah, when you start.
Thank
in,
you,
like,
sir.
Yeah, when you start in 4 or 5 minutes, I'll
Thank you,
shoot people
sir.
over. But for those that have,
Thank you so much for your contribution. I appreciate it, man.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'll see you soon.
For those that don't know, Archie